What's happening? Welcome to that Synth Car Nighttime Edition. Just getting off work here and thought I'd head home, and I had a request from one of the samurais asking me what I thought about the Synthstrom Deluge new community firmware update or community open source package they got going on. So I was looking over it at work. I guess I just go through some of the features that they got. So this is going to be a little bit technical and mostly for people into Deluge, Synthstrom Deluge. So if you're into it, you're into it. If not, man, have a great evening. Take a hike and enjoy yourself, and we'll catch you tomorrow for another episode of that Synth Car. So, Synthstrom Deluge. First, we had some audio improvements. So what, if you didn't know, what Deluge did is they took their epic Groovebox style thing and they open sourced it. So they're allowing everybody to make their own code for it and come up with all the things that Synthstrom doesn't have time to do, which is super cool. So the first list of features that they came up with had some audio improvements. They got a master compressor. They've added it to be able to be used in song view now. They got stereo chorus added in the mod effects. They got a grain feature added in the effects. You know, I think it's to granulize. People were wanted to be able to do some granular effects on a lot of things they were making. I think that's pretty awesome. They got a wave folder added, so distortion has been added, pre-filter. The parameter pad shortcut is between saturation and low pass filter cutoff, right? So it's gonna be a lot of shortcuts and stuff like that. If you don't know the Deluge is like made for geniuses. I only think geniuses can use it, and that's why I've stayed away from it. But one of my buddies, Wolfman Love, he's a serious genius, and he's been trying to get me to get this thing forever. And I just haven't pulled the trigger, but he keeps saying it's the best thing ever. And you know what? Maybe I will buy it at some point. All right, so then we got a unison effect, unison stereo spread, which is huge to add that to this type of box, right? Can be dialed in spread unison. They got filters, new filters added. So they got a low pass, a high pass, state variable filters added with notch filter and band pass. So that's pretty cool. Like adding a notch filter and a band pass. They got new filter parameters, so they got a low pass filter morphing capability and a high pass filter morph. They got LFO and sync capabilities added, so they got new LFO shapes. They got random walk and sample and hold, which is super cool. They got new sync modes too, so now you can do triplets and dotted as well, which is also awesome. They got automation view added, you know, so they got some sequencing improvements. If you don't know the Deluge has that grid like the Matrix Brute, and the sequencing of that thing is insane. Like, there's no limit on what you can sequence. I think you can sequence into infinity. So anyways, they added an automation view. It allows you to visually create and edit parameters of automation across the main grid path, which is cool. Across MIDI clips too and the other kits. They got probability and iteration added, probability by row. Allows you to set probability for all notes in a given row. They got a quantize and humanize mode. So you can do that after the notes recorded in the sequence. Very cool. And sequent notes can be set as fills, which is absolutely awesome to set it as fills. They got some keyboard view improvements. They got a new drum keyboard. So what a lot of people were asking for was for the drum to be added a drum view instead of like the regular view they had. So they wanted more like a drum kit setup. So they added a new drum keyboard view. The kit can now be visualized and played across the main grid pads. They got new in-key keyboard layout. They got adjusted root note layout, and they got offset keyboard view and highlight incoming notes, which is very cool. And they got a Norns layout that provides compatibility for the mononorm Norns using the MIDI grid, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. That's crazy. User interface improvements. Grid view is an alternative song view layout similar to Ableton Sessions view. So now you can display unique clips across pad rows and the clip variations. So if anybody knows what Ableton Session view is, now you got the Ableton. You can arm and play and random clips and all that, and you don't have to scroll across where you can only use 8 clips before, I think, on the Deluge down the side. Now your whole board is clips, like the Ableton Sessions view, you know. insanity. Manual slicing, aka lazy slicing, is now added, which is awesome. That's just by pressing the over and back, so lazy slicing. Any preset on the Deluge can now be loaded into a kit row as well, and then you hold addition. So anyways, not going to get into details, just a basic overview. The gold encoders now display a pop-up of their current value when adjusted, which is a huge thing. If you remember the old Deluge screen, that thing was like a Predator screen. You had to learn a whole new language to use it. They added the OLED screen, which is awesome. They allow people to send in their old kits and they would replace the LED screen for a couple $100, I think. So that's pretty awesome. And then they obviously released all their new Deluges with the OLED screen. And then they got the Mob Matrix entry has been added to the sound editor menu. Super cool, super cool. Can't beat it. So many new features on this thing, it's absolutely crazy. They got a sticky key where you can hold down shift and stick stuff. You know, tapping the shift key will lock something in place, which is obviously many of us want to do when we're playing our groove boxes and keyboards. What else they got? MIDI improvements. Change the handling of MPE expression, so they're getting into allowing their MIDI via Deluge now to be integrated with the MPE expression, because you have a lot of the new keyboards coming out these days, synthesizers that are MPE compatible, enhanced, you know, like the Osmos Expressive is crazy, right? Also, they got the MIDI ports on the back all geared up much better too, which is cool. So can you imagine, man, you got all these super geniuses working on the Deluge from behind the scenes. Imagine having like an army of unlimited coders to constantly up your box. And now Synthstrom can just like enhance their this is like their only product, and they keep updating and making it way crazier. So that's cool. So that's it, man. That's what we got so far, and I think I even got a little some notes made here about what projects they had and which ones got stalled. So I'll just go through that real quick and then we'll call it a night, because I had to go pick up a pizza for me and the missus. So, new LFO shapes completed, new sync modes completed, state variable filters completed, stereo chorus completed, keyboard view completed, 16 pad velocity drum view completed, drum randomizer completed, master compressor, community features, increased mod strength, extra MIDI ports via USB, crazy, automation instrument clip. Okay, what's stalled? The microtonal tuning has been stalled. The DX synth engine and presets has been stalled. Now, I'm not sure if that's something to do with, they got to work something out with the Yamaha or whatever, but the DX engine, people want to put that in, that's been stalled. Expanded reverb types is in progress. And anyways, there's a bunch more, so you can go on Deluge's stuff, pick all that out. That's the Synthstrom Deluge. Now it's immortal, because now it is in the hands of the people, powered by the people, and anything you want and anything you can dream up, especially with the invent of Chat GPT and stuff, you can now probably code your own things and get them. I think Synthstrom has to approve any updated coding and stuff like that. But for those of you who are Synthstrom Deluge fans, and myself, who has a best friend who loves this machine, is trying to get me to get it, this is huge, very huge feature. So that's that Synth Show Night Rider edition. See you later. Sloo, sloo.